is how to nurture confident and happy learners through a culture of emotional well-being. This is going to be presented by students Anastasia, Zion, Davina, Malcolm, Miss Maha Ahmed, Miss Maha Kathleen Darasha, and Miss Minakshi Dahia. And this presentation is presented by the Winchester School, Japan.
Thank you. The topic very well says that how are we nurturing our learners to be happy and confident by taking care or through the well-being of children. Before we even start presenting what does it mean in context to our school, I'd like to ask some of you, what is emotional well-being for you? It's something for us to share with each other. What's emotional well-being? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot and take away your well-being for today, but I'd like some viewpoints. So if anybody would like to share, somebody should share.
Emotional is very important in anyone, any student, in any way. Emotional is very, very important.
Emotions are very important. Why? Yeah, emotions are very important. But would you like to elaborate on it? Why and how, or what does it do? For you, what is emotional well-being in whichever area you work in?
Especially from when I'm small or young, I'm feeling somebody or someone. I feel if he loves me, if he hurt me.
Good. So what you're saying is that if you feel happy, if you feel somebody is there to hear you, then it's a good that's your emotional well-being taken care of. Yeah, that's a very nice way to put it across. Somebody from here?
Emotional well-being is basically how anybody is able to tackle the extremes of emotions. Like suppose somebody is being shunned by a group. So how are you reacting to it? How are you coping with it? So I think how we are able to cope with the different situations, the different circumstances that we are confronted with. How we are able to cope with it is basically emotional well-being, and of course how we are able to tackle the emotions that is evoked within us because of the subject.
It's not every day a Sunday.
Yeah.
Every day is not going to be the best day. Every day is not going to be everybody is going to be listening to you or most well behaved or things go as per what you want. And since we are talking in context of schools, there are surprises. There are good surprises, and then there are those challenging surprises, isn't it? So very well said that our emotional well-being supports us in tackling those situations, right? Yeah, and there's lots to elaborate on that. Moving forward, what we feel what is emotional well-being is both central to learning, and it is an outcome of the learning. It's not something that we can take away from each other. Also, it is multidimensional and characterized by feeling well and functioning well. So very well, you said it yourself. It is also the feeling of it and it's the functioning of it, because everything is actually comes back to how you apply it in your real life. If there is a situation, we all go through it. We've had just lately the Philippines was going through, and there were some children whose own family members, their uncles, their aunts, or their cousins, or their own younger real brother or sisters, or their grandparents were there and they were affected. How those children are taking care of it, it's how well the emotional well-being of the children is, how sound the emotional well-being is, that they can actually think creatively, and they initiate projects in schools and get the whole community engaged in it, shows how strong and how sound is the emotional well-being of our children. Okay, what does it mean for our children? And you are seeing we have been accompanied by our students, and most of the presentation is going to be them. When we were asked that we need to present, and because it's about learners, but in our learners at Winchester, we feel everybody is a learner. It's not just students, it's teachers, it's parents, we are a learning community. So, but definitely our children are always ahead of us, and it's hard to catch up with them. So they are here to present to you what does it mean for them at school.
Great.
That's Anastasia for you.
It's hard to attach. There you go. Okay, so as we all know or may know, Well-being is highly connected to the education. If students are in a great mood, they're going to put all of their attitude into studying. They're going to love studying. They're not going to be scared to put up their voice in the class. They're going to answer the questions and participate in the events. But there are some students that just cannot include themselves into the community because they're scared. For that, we have a lot of teachers who are always ready there to help. Our teachers, our tutors are the one who are always helping us in improving our well-being. They're always there to provide us support and to stretch out their hands just to help us. Winchester also assists us when it comes to choosing our path. They don't just tell you where to go, like they don't tell you do this and do that, but they tell you which path to take to lead to the bright light. They lead you towards the future. They take you away from the dark side and they bring you towards the good side. So with the help of our teachers, we are able to understand what of our actions are going to benefit us and what are going to bring the negative effect. Thank you. What's next?
Hello, I'm Davina. So when our students and teachers think of our school, we envision learning that extends beyond the classroom. It's not just the textbook lessons that are taught to us, but it is also the emotional welfare of the students that is highly prioritized. The students and teachers have developed relations that exhibit understanding, communication, and unity. And as students, we are able to confidently believe and say that our teachers are indeed a very vital contributor, to our overall growth as human beings. And every day it is witnessed in Winchester that teachers will go to unbound lengths just to ensure that a child is receiving adequate attention or is just simply feeling one with the school. And our teachers not only do that, but they also regularly assess students, have built personal relationships with them, and continue to find and discover uniqueness. And they never stray, as Anna had stated, they never shy away from helping us develop these qualities, and they direct us into functioning well. So thank you. And
hello. Okay, so knowing that students with high levels of well-being make better learners, teachers ensure effective social and personal functioning and are generally engaging in appropriate behavior within the walls of the educational institution. Teachers make sure that they help encourage students to portray and develop their talents, as well as motivate them to take up opportunities that are present in front of them. I would now like Ms. Maha, to take over.
The role of the teacher. What can I say after all my students have said? But I want to stress on one thing, that the teachers are ensuring that the elements of the curriculum, the community, the policies of the school, the environment, all are enhancing the well-being of the children. Second, there are lots of ways to children for progressing, because why will I come to school? Why will I feel that I'm happy going to school? There must be a different way of teaching there, and also that the teachers are welcoming me or giving me an open door policy that I can talk with them, that I can tell them what is upsetting me, what went well in the lesson, even better if in the lesson. Then there are different ways that they like learning, visual or auditory or kinesthetic. So that is embedded in the lesson plans while we are doing it. Why? Because I know my students. I know who likes to take a role play or maybe singing or maybe drawing, even when they are in that age. It's not only for babies or KGs or primary that they start for singing and dancing and playing roles or debating, all this stuff. Even in the class for kinesthetic, making lots of discussions. Who agree? Who doesn't disagree? Here, move to here. Convince them to go there. I think that with the school policy that the well-being to be embedded in the curriculum, to be taught by the teachers. Okay. هقول حاجة بالعربي بس بسرعة. إن الولاد لما هيبقوا سعداء، ده اللي احنا عايزين نقوله، إن الولاد لما هتبقى سعيدة في الفصل وهي رايحة المدرسة هيعملوا حاجات أكتر، وما يبقاش إن الدرس إن أنا أخش أعمل حفار دريلينج معلومات في مخهم. أنا مفروض إن أنا بعلمهم وأقودهم هم اللي يعملوا الريسيرشز بتاعتهم، أنا بس من بعيد ما بتكلمش. أنت تعمل كده وهم هتلاقيهم عندهم تقول exceeding limits اللي احنا في حاجات يقولوا لا مش هيعملوها، مش هيعرفوا يعملوها. ما تقولش كده لأنه هيعملوها. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. I'm going to be speaking to you about what the role of the counselor or the specialist in the school would be on well-being of the children. Basically, as we are an inclusive school, we believe that our priority is to meet the need of every single child in the school, whatever that need may be, whether it's dealing with a child who is gifted and talented, or dealing with a child with special needs, or just dealing with an average child within the classroom. Each and every child is important to us, and each and every child's need must be met by us. So we do that in so many different ways. It could be strategies that we do within the classroom, of just differentiating our lesson plans or working on specific strategies for a particular child, or it could be working on a one-to-one if the child needs to be withdrawn for certain things, whether it's a gifted and talented child to be challenged more, or a child with special needs that needs to go to the achievement center to have extra resource work done for him or her. They're just, or even having a learning support assistant within your classroom, meeting the need of every child to see that their well-being is being met is the most important thing for us where children are concerned. Also, another form of meeting the child's well-being would be to have a buddy system in place for each child within the school. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Zian. Well, a rich learning environment, which is open, respectful, in diversity, caring, and safe, emphasizes an ideal learning environment, which optimizes well-being. Similarly, it creates a positive school ethos where it makes the school an exciting, stimulating, and truly warm, welcoming place. A place where students and teachers, regardless of whoever, can feel expressively that when they go back to school, they feel like they're also home every time they walk the school gates. The Winchester School does this by developing and communicating an explicit commitment to well-being. The students and teachers share a relationship in such a way that student and teacher is not just restricted to being student and teacher, but a friend to a friend, a child to a parent, a heart to a heart. This is one of many points that the Winchester School exhibits. It expresses well-being of students, teachers, of a family, our family. Thank you.
Would Anna like to add on?
I would love to continue. Our school also provides us a lot of opportunities. We have, how many opportunities? We still have some students who are not sure about what they want to do in their future. Some of them walk around and ask, what do I want to go? Or like, which university should I take? Or who am I going to be? Our school just helps them to answer these questions. They just help them get the clear answer in these questions by providing lots of opportunities. We get to choose our lessons which we want to study. We get to see what various universities can provide us with. How can we get there? We get to meet the people who represent the universities. We also have small field trips, really educational field trips to various research areas, which are very helpful in imagining what our working future is going to look like. Our teachers always have time in their busy schedule to just sit down with students and help them revise the topic and explain something they don't understand. We also have our student voice council who are always there to voice out the students' opinions. Besides, our school also provides great chance to express your talents or like fix them a little bit. You can design your school, you can participate in exhibitions, and finally you can just take pictures of the events. Thank you.
Now, the enforcement of rules and regulations in our school are done positively by teachers and are clearly explained and collaboratively developed with students as well as the broader school community. They make sure that they protect and take care of the social and personal well-being of students while in their schools to help them feel at home, feel protected and not insecure. I would now like Davina to carry on.
Yes.
Thank you.
As Malcolm just said, the result of this relationship between students and teachers mean that physical space, device allowance, and cyber environment is dutifully respected, and students and staffs are well aware of their responsibilities. And another important feature of this is that students are very well conscientious about maintaining decorum in the school. Additionally, there are many campaigns that are run through the school that do not devoid much from the lessons we are learning, but rather help us explore new things through them, such as a health and safety campaign that we are running currently. And these are just one of the many campaigns that students are actively engaged in daily school life. Thank you.
Nurture the well-being. What the students were just saying, I'd like to bring about that any school that needs to ensure or who feels that the emotional well-being of the children is central to their learning, it's the culture basically, what we are all trying to present here. It's the culture. It's the culture where everybody is respected, everybody's point of view. I would like to point out here that at Winchester we have 86 nationalities. And we celebrate this diversity. We take it as our strength. Yes, it brings about its challenges because the values, the cultures, and everything, the expectations can be really huge when you have so many nationalities and children and families coming from so many backgrounds. But we take it as one of our strengths because there's so much to learn from each other. And when we're talking about the culture, what we also want to say is that, like the students have presented already, they contribute to making the policies. It's not that the behavior policy has been drafted because we want to enforce these rules in our school. It is with the feedback from the students. It's with the feedback from the teachers, and it's also from the feedback from the parents. So that's just one policy. When we do a fire drill, we take feedback from our students. What do they think? How was the fire drill? How was it? And do we need to prepare some children already? Because they may have had an experience. So we speak about that already. So we've prepared those children, or we are taking that extra care. Any event that takes place, most of the events at Winchester, in fact, I must say, they are not the teachers' initiatives. I would say they may be just 5 or 10% which are teachers' initiative. 95% of the events that take place at Winchester are all student initiatives.
Like the peace stuff.
Yeah. When there was the World Peace, a child came up and said, I want to make this event a big event. And discussed, it's just there that when they come, because we have to discuss the logistics, we have to discuss of where it would be, we just guide where and if there are some time shifts we need to do. At this point, as I'm standing and talking to you, Winchester students in the leadership of Mr. Rohan Roberts, they have designed or directed the first ever Science Fest, which is going to be from the 26th to the 1st. And many more events like that. Charity, like the typhoon, it wasn't a teacher's initiative, it was from the children, and it doesn't have to be that the child has to be a part of the student voice group. The student voice group and the student leadership body is really strong in our school, and they will communicate with all the children and bring those points on the table. Any other child who has an initiative can walk up, there's an absolute transparency, they can come and they can speak to, this is my plan, this is what I want to do. We look at it, what's a good time to do, and that's all our contribution to it. Most of it is their work. It's not ours. Feedback is the continuous effort. Lessons, teachers take feedback. Did you like my lesson? Did you learn anything? What else would you like me to do? And can I mention here, children, of course, we all would say, are much ahead in ICT. And today's learner is a digital learner. So I take pride in sharing with you that our students are mentoring our teachers in developing their ICT skills. Because they're just going to learn and be ahead of us. I don't know if some of you noticed, I said I want to make sure none of my alarms beep. So can you please put my phone on silent? I've tried, but I know sometimes I end up in a meeting and it still beeps. Though I've put it on silent and I've reduced the volume. And Anastasia could do it with a flag. And we have no apprehension. They are ahead of us. We are trying to catch up in that area. We are good in some areas and they're trying to catch up. And that's the culture in the school that we have. Everybody, every parent, every student, everybody has a voice. And it's that culture where we care for emotional well-being of every child. The students will make a statement for this. But before we close, I do want to mention to you, it's not just when we're talking about nurturing the emotional well-being of children, of course it's done at the grassroots level. It's not one head of PSHE curriculum or one head of counselor or a teacher. Every teacher has to ensure the well-being of the children, because if this is my class and I have noticed that that child is disengaged in my lesson and I don't do anything about it, the culture is that then we haven't taken care of the emotional well-being. If this child is not happy about engaging because there's no presentation and I know he's a visual learner, then that's not right. We are not meeting the needs, or we are not catering for the emotional well-being of all our children. So if you really want to have an outstanding emotional well-being in your school, or where everybody feels really looked after and cared for, then it has to be at the classroom, grassroots level, everybody. And when I say the culture, most of us, when we say, I'm really happy to come to school, and the thing that puts a smile on my face is our security man. He has a big smile on his face, and he will not stop from nodding and greeting everybody, every student, every teacher, every parent. And this has come to us as a feedback, right from the cleaners, the nannies, the drivers, the conductors, the students, the teachers, everybody. And that's what's, it's kind of, when we measure the health of the school, how many people are happy. Well, they're not always going to be happy, but do they feel safe and confident and comfortable to express their feelings? I think that. I'm not saying all my students are 100% happy every day, all my teachers are and all my parents are. Well, teachers are the ones who hate me the most, or us, because there's so much demand that we have and expectations from them on a day-to-day basis. So they may not be always happy. They may be having not such a good day, and every day is not a Sunday, like I say, but there you go. We'll close this and we'll be happy to have any answer sessions, question-answer sessions. But before that, we'll just close it with what are the key strengths at Winchester.
Said that we conduct school-wide positive behavior support through like class participation, like class meetings, where every individual in the classroom, any classroom, whether it be math, science, English, that we participate in either planning or recapitulating what happens in, out, and about the classroom. There's also our traditional student councils, and as a student council member myself, it is a pleasure to be in much involvement of the student council, wherein we are not just dedubbed leaders of the school, we are the voices of the school, wherein we stand amongst, beside students and teachers, and not just by merely standing above them, because we are dedubbed leaders. This is what I feel as a student council member, adding someone to Miss, and also one of the key strengths of the Winchester School, like inclusive school, where there's a huge development of lifelong learners incorporating work skills. Would you like to add on?
Excellent attitudes and behavior of children. In today's world, with more innovative and modernized ways of learning, students' attitudes towards studies has become more optimistic and enthusiastic. They want to learn more. And like Ms. Maha said, there are visual learners, auditory learners, and with today's ways of learning, it's really become amazing as to how children react towards studies.
Our excellent relationships among students and staff is actually really excellent. In our school, both sides can help each other, as Ms. Meenakshi mentioned. They help us in education and various stuff, and we help them in technology or other stuff, like many stuff. And we also, yes, we also, our school is not just education. When everyone has free time, for example, break time, our teachers love to just go on and chat about very random stuff with students, and that is really nice.
Okay. And to conclude, outstanding partnership with parents. Our parents the parents of the students are always well informed and kept engaged with the students' progress. And this aids in what I like to call a compass support system. So be it north, south, east, or west, students are constantly surrounded by supportive and caring individuals and teams. That means that there's always someone pointing us in the right direction. Thank you.
High for all students and set realistic targets. Because as Winchester, every child matters. It's our motto. Thank you very much.
Before we close, any question answers will be welcome. I'd like to mention how we came about this presentation. When we got an invite, first the principal called me in, said this is the invite from KHTA and how would you like to present it? So all right, I'll just ask some teachers and come back to you. And we just had a discussion in different areas in staff rooms. And two of the teachers said, all right, this is the things we can. And then we popped, it's about children, let's take children. So there we went. And then when we met for the first time, all these points were shared. What does it mean for us? What's emotional well-being? I said, all right, I've noted your key points. I'll put it down into a slideshow and I'll send it to you all. And then they evaluated my points that I'd noted and what I'd not noted well and fed back to me. And then we just had another discussion of what does the culture of emotional well-being. And we met once yesterday, and we are here to speak to you about it. Any questions? Anything? If no questions, that's good news. Anything you would like to share? There's something everybody has inside them thinking here you can relate to, you can link to. Let's add it to this room so we all can benefit from it. There must be some experiences that you're burning to share with us because it's something good, you know. We can all walk out with something strong that we've heard today. Or if there's something that you think, okay, I've heard this, I'm going to go and try it in my school or share it with my leadership. We should do this.
أي أسئلة تحبوا إنكم تسألوها؟
ستة كلمة عربي نسمع كلام إحنا نعرف شوية. فكرة عامة عن الموضوع بعد الجيل الأول. وبعد كده هل في مسؤول في المدرسة بيحاول يواجه الارتباط ناحية العاطفية؟ زي الأخصائي النفسي والمدرس؟
إحنا عندنا أخصائية وعندنا كاثرين برضو للأطفال اللي هم ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة. You're asking about if we are having a responsible one like a counselor in the school. I said
yes.
Social worker, yes.
There's a student counselor for the careers.
Social worker, psychologist. Psychologist or social worker?
Yes, psychologist. Yeah, there is a psychologist who's welcome, who's available for any child, because we do know in today's world there may be a single parent, there may be a child, like we talked about the natural calamity, and children may be finding it difficult. You may have heard about an incident of a small child fell off the balcony when children were waiting to get onto the bus last year.
Can I translate? بتقول لك إنه يعني حصل ساعة المدرسة كان في حادثة كلنا سمعنا قرينا عنها إن في طلبة اللي عندنا في المدرسة كان في طالب وقع من البلكونة. فدي الطلبة اللي معاه في الفصل برضه إحنا محتاجين حد إنه هو يكون معاه.
So what happened is that the girl who's from our school was also waiting down when this happened. Now that girl's parents had already left for work and she came straight to school. But the children on the bus noticed she was shaken, and that was brought to our attention. And of course there was counseling and talking to her through it. We informed the parents about it. So there's that immediate care available.
الطالبة بتاعت المدرسة كانت واقفة تحت وفي العيل وقع من البلكونة، فطبعا هي أهلها كانوا راحوا الشغل فركبت الباص ورجعت. في الباص قالوا لنا إن البنت بترتعش وإن ده، فطبعا كان لازم يحصل المساعدة على طول، إن واحدة شايفة حد وقع من قدام البلكونة وبعدين دخلت الطفلة صغيرة.
So these real life situations will be there on a day-to-day. There was another tower in JLT which caught fire and we had 3 families. So immediate care.
المبنى برضه في الجديد وفي عندنا 3 مدرسين بعائلاتهم موجودين في المبنى بيحصل دي ريل لايف كونكشن. انت ده ارتباطك بالواقع، هيحصل حاجه، بيحصل حرب، بيحصل بركان في حته، زلزال في حته، انت لازم تتعاطف معاه.
The parent just communicated with the class teacher. Class teacher felt absolutely comfortable to walk into her office. This is what I've heard. We need to go and support. Yes, sure. They picked up the uniforms from the school. They gathered books because the parents said the children are really devastated. Everything was taken. 2 teachers went to the parents, spoke to the children, counseled them. They were all happy and comfortable because there were too many questions what will happen. It was assessments going on. They don't have their uniforms, how will they come to school? Everything is burnt out. We have documents at school. We'll give you those copies, their passports, their details which were in school. We made copies of it and rushed to their house. So it was taken care of, and teachers are equipped to take care of it because they will be the first ones the child will speak to. They will not come to me immediately. They'll go to their teachers first. So it's best that our teachers are best prepared for the emotional well-being, and they listen to the children, what they are saying, or they're observant in the classroom. Today she's not herself. What's happened? Parents are traveling. A lot more things. And if they are able to feel comfortable and happy, then they feel cared for. Yes, my dear. Yeah.
And daily, what we do is write in their diaries that today this particular child was behaving like this. We have many kids with ADHD, Down syndrome, so I'm working with them. So every day we write in their diary that today his mood was like this, he did these behaviors. What we can do is there any problem at home, why he's behaving like this. So we discuss this with parents also, day-to-day
We
basis.
call it as a daily communication book. We also have that, it's about, we make sure though that there's something positive definitely written. Because as a parent, you wouldn't like to hear, he was again not focused, or everything. So there's something strong that you want to write, which is the strength, and then you write, we did this, and we need to continue to work on this. It'll help us to achieve this. So that's a good practice, I would say. Well done.
Yeah, shall I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Could you please give me your experience about bad attitude or bad behavior towards the students? What shall you do? You call parents and what shall you do?
There's always an underlying reason usually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? When you're creating the policies, do make sure that you involve your children in it. You can't always have all children participate in it, but most of your children in whichever way you can. If a child is in disagreement, very often in a conversation you'll find out something's disturbing or child's unhappy. Maybe the parents are traveling a lot, maybe he is upset of losing a friend, maybe who's left the school. So if you can just find that reason, that talk, basically somebody making that connection. Once that link is done, once that link is made, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Can I add one thing here? That we always say, if the child is troublesome in the class, that means my lesson plan was not that strong.
Yes.
Because if I made something for the gifted and talented, because he finishes very quickly, he needs something else. It's not that I'm giving one activity, 15 activities I'm giving him, right? So if I'm giving him, if I'm giving him 15 activity, that's not being an outstanding one. I have to give according to his abilities, yes?
Yeah.
So if I'm having that for him, I have weak students who don't understand anything in the class. So what will I do? I will keep them seated like this, just one thing? Or did I plan my lesson that I have them engaged from moment one and this one? Because you will have differentiation in the class. You will have people who just came to you today, all right, from another country. They don't speak one word of that language, whether it is English or Arabic, okay?
Yeah.
Second, I could have a gifted and talented child that he is, yes, in years 8 or 9, but his capabilities of this language, he is exceeding others. Then I must have something for him. If I really engage every child, not one will upset you.
Yes.
Now I'm teaching the 4 of them, you can say that.
Next question is for them. They're waiting.
Okay.
They will give you the best answer, not the teachers, you tell me.
What are the challenges that you faced in embedding this emotional well-being policy in your school? Of course, there are challenges because we always say the good things, but we would like to know what are the challenges that you face in embedding.
She's the boss, right? I will answer you. If she knows the name of our children one by one, why will I go? She cares about my family. She cares, I'm tired today, I don't look. I can smile in front of everybody, but she will know that I'm smiling, but there is something wrong. That's the real manager.
The challenge is an easy one to achieve, actually, because it's just the caring nature of everybody.
In Winchester, it's not that the principal or the head of primary or head of secondary walks around only on special occasions or only when there's something to be done, or any one of the middle leaders. We have such a good communication between teachers, middle leaders, senior leadership middle leader walks into their room. It could be just to praise, it could be just to see the class, it could just be to say hello to the kids. It happens so regularly, and our communication is so open between everybody that it is embedded automatically. It is a part of the culture.
How do you
Okay,
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I personally think that you have to find a way of teaching him so that he will be really interested. Don't give it to me. So that he will be really interested in it. Like, if the child is hyper and he's like really energetic and he wants to do a lot of work, like I love doing work. For example, math, my favorite lesson. I sit down and I do my work, and if I'm done with it and my teacher doesn't have any more work, I just open my book and I go through it or I study through it. But the teacher is really rare. The teacher always has an extra work for me to do. But if the child is hyper and he's like not a fan of studying, the teachers always find the right way to teach them. They give like they crack it in intelligent jokes, or like Miss Maha does. That's amazing. Or they just give you we have a lot of like worksheets to do, really nice worksheets.
we are also the ones to provide emotional support, and we try our best to live up to the expectations of our Winchester family.
Is that if you share what's the plan of the day, if they already know, if you share a plan, what's first thing going to be in the lesson, then the next 20 minutes is this, so they know what to expect. They're basically getting restless because they don't know what's coming next. So very often if they already know what we call as a visual timetable, if you share with them the visual timetable, it takes a little minute, but he feels really nice. Say, if I know you're going to get, so the first thing in the morning after I got everybody busy, I take my 2 minutes with you every day. And I'm sharing with you a little printed visual timetable to say, Adam, this is what we're going to do first, and then this, and when you finish it, you're going to come to me and say this to me. So that rapport, the connection that you create is the key.
We don't tell them directly what to do because honestly, as a student myself, I find it really irritating when a teacher repeats the same thing. Not only is the student bothered, the teacher is bothered as well. She gets really tired. That's why you have to do it in a way that you both engage each other properly, where not one is irritated. There will be times that you will be irritated by repeating the same thing, but I guess there's also that way where you would tell them again and finally somehow drill into their minds.
And don't put yourself in challenge with the child. Never, ever. So if he is really troublesome, not in front of the class, because you are giving a chance to them. You said, take him out for 1 minute and talk to him out, and then, or at the end of the lesson, take him out. It's according how the situation it is. So if he is really a troublesome one at that point, and you feel, okay, it will be a scene, either I keep him quiet for the time being, or if it is the time that I have to take him out and talk to him one outside. So don't just
in front of all. So wants to bring it again and again, and there's nothing left.
This is one of the main things, that sometimes teachers do not really appreciate the work of the children. So you have all the time to praise, even if it is a little thing. Then he will love to be working more and more. What do you think about that?
This girl is just eager to answer.
All right.
Yes, and there's something that's practiced, like as I previously mentioned, the students respect their privileges, like device usage, and another trick for some hyperactive children, just allowing them to listen to music on their iPod does get work done. Like
I approve that.
yeah, she does. And once the whole class has their earphones plugged in and they're listening to music, it's silent and they're involving themselves with their work. So that's another trick, an immediate effect that you can.
Awareness on what they do and the result that they produce. Some of the teachers really appreciate it.
And it's soothing, so it calms their aggression.
I mean, that's how I do my homework. And besides from it's not just listening to music we're talking about. When you just do something that gives you inspiration. For example, in our art class, in our English class, They actually, when we do grand writings, the teachers actually allow us, or grand paintings, or just paint there. The teacher allow us to listen to music, to get our inspiration from there, to get our ideas from there. Most of my writings are just the inspiration from the music I read, or like I eat a candy and I'm just like, oh, I know this taste just makes me burst all my emotions out on the paper.
Very much.
Thank you to all.
Big feedback to us.
Our stars.
They are our stars, really. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.